So a lot of what people ask in terms of social media is, what do I post? What's the strategy? What do I do with it? What's the call to action? What is the purpose of it? And so that's really what we're going to tackle today, is that content side. A lot of it at the outset is some boring stuff. It's about organizing yourself. So how many people here, this is a passion project and it's kind of a second job that you're doing? Okay, and you're busy, I'm sure. And the ones that this is your full-time job, you're very busy, and social media usually falls, when you're in a crunch and you're pinched for time, social media is usually pinched out, right? Because you got to talk to people and you got to do human stuff, and it takes you 20 minutes to even get onto the application. So a lot about what you can find in terms of success with social media is organizing yourself, okay, and being realistic with yourself. And that's what you need to do here today, is be really realistic with what it is that you do day in and day out. That will help you make effective social media, okay? It is not a magic trick. There is no, special little tool that's going to make it super, super easy. It's about being consistent. It's about being organized and having a plan. So first and foremost, you cannot be all things to all people. So a lot of clients that I sit down with, they're, I have my LinkedIn, I have my Facebook, I have my Twitter, I have my Foursquare, I have Google+, I have Instagram, have every icon that you can imagine in terms of social media. And it's connected to their website, which I think is great. And you click on those links and they haven't been updated in 3 years. Because when you have 5 social platforms and you have very limited knowledge about how to use them, it can all become very overwhelming. And when things are overwhelming, we're kind of like, okay, I'm pinched for time, I gotta worry about human stuff. So where we're going to begin with this is, who are the people that matter? And when we sit down and we concentrate on that, you'll be able to choose which platform you should be spending your time on. Okay? You do not need all 5 of those platforms. Most of you really just need 1 or 2. And it might not be the one that you think that you need. Okay? Now, I think that they're all relevant, and if you had marketing teams, or you had a marketing savant on your team, then maybe you can go that extra mile where you have a full suite. But when you're learning it for yourself and you're doing this in kind of the regards that you're doing it in, you really need to strategize and pick just one platform and be really clear about what your audience is. So what I tell clients when they're first starting out, especially if they're very, very new to social media, and even if you're good at it and you do it for a personal nature, it's very different when you start doing it for business or when you start doing it for your nonprofit. So what I suggest is choose a platform and master it. And when you've mastered that platform, you're going to have that confidence to move on to the next platform. And you're going to be able to see some of the similarities between Facebook and Twitter, or between Facebook and LinkedIn, or really where Instagram fits when you've mastered one, when you feel confident in one. So let's talk about the really important platforms that you will need to choose from. Facebook. Okay. Everybody has a Facebook. And many of you have Facebooks right now, and that's great. They're great for advertisement. They're great for connecting to the general population. And you can disseminate all kinds of information on Facebook, right? Articles, text, photos, video. It's like the mothership of social media. Then you have Twitter. How many people have a Twitter account? How many people feel confident that they know that they're using it correctly? Okay. Awesome. I knew we had one. Twitter is an interesting beast. Okay, it is really come as like a catchphrase in terms of social media, because people are tweeting and hashtags, and you see it in the media, and celebrities are using it. But a lot of people don't need to be utilizing it in terms of what you're doing it. Twitter is a news source. So imagine that CNN was on your phone, and CNN was giving you all kinds of information from all types of different outlets, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can find anything that you want with just one search. That's essentially what Twitter is. Now, in terms of what you're going to do for it, if you want to choose that platform and master it for nonprofits, is you're really going to be connecting with partners. You're going to be leveraging relationships. That's what you're going to be utilizing Twitter for. So for example, I worked with somebody today, and their partners are Southwest on Frontier, and so they're working with some bigger brands. She would then want to connect with those individuals on Twitter because they have such a big presence and they're always producing great news. Most of you, and kind of seeing what you're doing, you won't need to really be utilizing Twitter. It's kind of an advanced system, and it's really about being a news creator and viewing news. Now, LinkedIn. How many people have LinkedIn? Everybody needs to get their hand up and create a LinkedIn for themselves because it is very, very important for professionals. It's not like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram where it was created to be social in a social sphere. LinkedIn was created for professionals to connect with other professionals. And think about your nonprofit. How important are other professionals to your business? Very important. Your donors. Now, how many of you are working with legal teams and lawyers, doctors, people that are banking? All of those individuals are on LinkedIn. All of those individuals have their profiles and they're engaging, they should be, with other people. And you can leverage that. And if you have somebody that's a huge donate or is donating a lot of money, and they're on LinkedIn, that network is probably very similar to them. So if a lot of you ask, I really need to start getting more funding. I really want to start adding more people to our donation list. How do we do that? LinkedIn is a great space for that. Many of you, this is a second career. LinkedIn allows you to showcase all of your talents. So if the nonprofit is something that you're passionate about and you do it part-time, but you're in some other industry, that industry now has access to what you do at a nonprofit level. If you don't have a LinkedIn account and you're not sure about how to set one up, or you have one and you just haven't accessed it in 5 years, see me after. We'll get that profile optimized. It probably takes 15 minutes. It's a great space. And everybody needs it because we all know how the job market can be, and it's up and down, and usually people gravitate toward LinkedIn in that time. And so for overall general purposes, LinkedIn should be something that you should be utilizing it. Now, do you need to master it right out of the gate? No. But there are some nonprofits here where they really are just looking to connect with other professionals that are going to help grow it on a fundraising basis. And LinkedIn is a great space for that. For those of you that attended yesterday's presentation, Instagram. Instagram is the most relevant social media application out there right now. Now, some people are saying, no, that's not true, Nicole, but this one is it. And that's fine. To each his own. But we're in a visual world, like we talked about yesterday. We're visual, and it needs to happen instantaneously. And Instagram gives you the ability to not only create visual content, but to create video content. And that is incredibly important. Another reason why this is such an important app and why I want many of you to think about making this app the one to master is your ability to streamline content to Facebook and Twitter. So if you're looking just to master one platform and you really want to get in and get nitty and dirty in there and really understand it and still have presence on other platforms that you currently have, Instagram still allows you to do that. And it allows you to do it strategically. So for those of you that are thinking, yes, Instagram is the space for that, when I sit down with you in about 30 minutes, we're going to talk about how to utilize some of those key features to keep the Facebook and the Twitter going. Now, I get a lot of questions about Google Plus and Pinterest, okay? I don't use them. I don't encourage them for my clients. In terms of, let's say you were building a retail business. Let's say you're selling dresses or lipstick or fashion, or you're refurbishing furniture. Pinterest might be a great idea for that. And if you feel like you've mastered a lot of these other platforms and you want to go a step further, then we can definitely talk about Pinterest. But really, in terms of where you need to go with your nonprofits right now, that is not a platform that you should be concentrating on. Okay, it's very fun. You'll get lost in it. There's so many cool things on there. But in terms of doing business and making your nonprofit successful, Pinterest is definitely not a space to go. Now, Google+. Lots of questions about Google+. Lots of guys in there that are big supporters of Google+, because it is a very technically inclusive platform. For where most of you are right now, Google+ isn't really necessary. If you're creating blogs and you're a blogger, Google+ is a great place to post because it will put you higher on those rankings. If you're interested in more about where that sits, I'm sure there's a couple guys that we could all sit down together and talk about where you could go with Google+. But the 4 ones that I really want you to concentrate and say, which one of these do I want to master is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Okay? Any questions about that?
What was the last one you said?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn being first, kind of, sort of?
It just really depends on where you're at. That's why we're going to break out, because I really want to be able to talk to each one of you individually. So when you're sitting down and asking yourself, what platform am I going to concentrate on, you need to ask, who is your target audience, which is the initial question. Are you trying to reach kids? You know, is that your audience? Are you building a nonprofit that is doing a community garden? Are you helping at-risk teens? You know, are you working with children that have been abused or incarcerated? Okay, this particular audience is not going to be on LinkedIn. So where you need to be manifesting your work is probably in platforms like Instagram and Facebook, visual, quick. And really, if you're a child-based organization, you should really be looking at Instagram. Some of you that are doing, you know, some of the community gardens, more of the positive outreach stuff, where you're building programs like that, you can also talk to me about a program called Snapchat. And definitely write that down, because in 2 or 3 years, that will be a part of your social media strategy. We won't be discussing it too much here because it's still evolving, but it is an important application. And it's Snapchat, S-N-A-P-C-H-A-T. It was in the news quite a bit for being kind of that sexting app for teens, but really it's going beyond that, and it's really taking a hold of what technology is going to look like in terms of social media down the road.
Spell that again, please.
It's Snap, S-N-A-P, and then Chat, C-H-A-T. For some of you, I've already talked to you about maybe introducing that into your platform. We won't be talking too much about that here, but it's definitely something to take note of if you are working with children, because they are predominantly on that application. How many people here have a goal for their social media already? One person. Awesome. That's really where it comes down to, is you know you need to be on it, you know you need to have these platforms, you're not really sure what you're doing on some of them, and so really you don't have a goal. So everybody is going to leave here with a goal for your social media. Is it that you want them to give you more money? Is it that you want them to click on this link? Is it that you want to bring more awareness? Is it that you want to showcase the people that help you fundraise? You know, what is it that you're trying to do with your social media? Because if all you're doing is trying to fill space and send it a status update and send a link here, it's going to go nowhere. And that time that you have spent on it, not only are you frustrated because you're not seeing any results, is you don't have a clear line to go. So you need to ask yourself, what is it really that I'm doing on social media? What is my goal? I want everybody to sit down and kind of think, what is my goal? And maybe jot down some notes right now. So we're going to go back to that. And this is the big one. This is the big one. This is the one that kind of gets people in trouble, because we all have wishful thinking. We all think we have lots of time in the day. Oh yeah, this is easy. Sat down. I got it. She did it so quickly. And when you're home alone at 11 o'clock at night and it's late, and you're like, I've been working on this one thing for like 30 minutes, and you need to be realistic about how much time you can dedicate to social media. Okay? Really important to be realistic, because if you start with realistic expectations, you're going to get realistic results, and you're going to build from that. Many of you, you're starting for the first time, and so out the gate, you're not going to be creating posts in 30 seconds. You're learning something, and you need to be patient with yourself. But if you're consistent, and you work on it, and you concentrate on one platform, you will be able to do that, and then move on to the next, and be able to do all the crazy things that you see all the young kids out there doing, and doing it with an agenda in mind. Okay, you're creating social change. You're just using this technology as a vehicle for that. Okay, so let's make a plan, okay? If you can, set aside 20 to 30 minutes a week, okay? Now, some of you are like, 20 to 30 minutes a week, I don't even have time to go to the bathroom. Okay? You gotta give me at least 15 minutes then. Okay, got to be be realistic in terms of what you can donate, but know that if you really don't have any time, that you maybe need to rearrange some things, because you do need to put some time into this. This isn't something that you can just throw together in a second and make it feasible and make it work. So this is really important. Set aside that time and make it a regular. I always tell my clients, sit down at what day are you the most fresh. Choose a time when you're the most comfortable, because you're working in a new area. So you're already kind of tense. You're already kind of looking around to see if maybe your kid can help you, your cousin, or you're going to call someone up. Hopefully it's me, because I definitely want to. Please use me as a resource in the future. But choose a time when you're most comfortable, preferably in the morning. When you're fresh. I always look at, I know weekends are tough, but Sundays are usually a really great time to kind of look out on the week and be able to say, okay, I know what's going to be happening Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Once you've established a regular time, let's say it's Sunday, so you give yourself Sunday, I'm giving myself 20 minutes to just sit down and think about my social media for the week. Okay? And survey what's going on. What events are happening in your nonprofit? What fundraising or marketing initiatives are you doing? Do you have new flyers that are coming out? Are you doing a new fundraising event? What meetings are you taking? What are you doing to move your nonprofit forward? How many people can foresee that, at least for the week or two ahead? Okay, so many of you. Awesome. So you're going to take this time to really just hone in on what it is that you're going to be doing for the week. Okay, and now we're going to take that information and we're going to channel it through social media. Now, how many of you utilize a calendar application? How many of you guys still go with the folding paper calendar? It's okay. It's all right. I used to do it. I just broke myself of the habit. To be really efficient, to use your time wisely, I really would suggest to you to get acclimated to an online calendar app. Google Cal is a really, really great application. It's free. If you're a Gmail user, Google user, you'll be able to access this. If you're not, create a Gmail account. The Google Calendar allows you to streamline all this information online. If you're an iPhone user, an iPad user, iCal is really great. Outlook, whatever calendar application you feel comfortable with or easiest for you to use, then great. If you're just like, you know what, Nicole, I've had enough technology. I'm going to have to stick to my paper calendar. That's fine. You just find a calendar that works for you, and we'll get you moving to the digital space. It took me a long time to move to a digital space. It's made my life a lot easier, but I definitely was like this. Because there's something about writing down that feels more real, right? There's something about putting it on paper that makes it feel like, okay, I'm actually going to do this. It's in my mind. I wrote it down. It's in my brain. I get that. Okay. The next thing that you're going to do is choose a document platform you're comfortable with as well. Okay, Word, Excel, Notes, Pages. This one I definitely would like you to do on your computer because everybody has access and most of you should have some working knowledge of Word. So now you have everything that you're doing for the week, right? You're sitting down, you have your 20 minutes, you have, these are the events that are going on, this is what's going on with marketing. And then your calendar's right there, you have your document to write down, and now I want you to start thinking about what you can say about each one of these things that are going down. Okay? You already know what's happening for your week. Now you're just taking that and you're organizing so that you can communicate that on social media. So it's not that you're sitting there on Monday morning at 9 o'clock thinking, oh my God, I got to do a Facebook post. What is it going to be? This will allow you to take that kind of fret out of it and really start streamlining a clear strategy. So what I do is I do it on an Excel. And if you are comfortable in Excel, I think Excel is great for this. If you're more comfortable in Word, like I said, I want you to use technology that you're comfortable with. Okay, I might have a right way that works for me, but you're going to have a right way that works for you. So that's really important for you guys to feel comfortable in what you're doing because social media for you, many of you, is very, very new. When you're writing that stuff down, do one for each event. So write down your idea. Okay, I have a meeting with a donor on Friday, so I know on Friday I'm going to say something about how amazing our donors are. We're launching a new marketing initiative on Monday. I know that I'm going to want to write something about what we're marketing, or maybe I'm going to post the flyer. Okay, so you already have everything that you need to be posting. All you have to do is just organize it. And a lot of it is a little bit time consuming, but when you start getting into this rhythm and you know you're going to sit down every Sunday and it becomes a consistent thing, not only are you going to feel more comfortable in it and be better at it, but you're going to see those results that a lot of you haven't been seeing by just posting randomly every other day or every other week. Any questions about that? Second biggest question I get is, when should I post? And it's a great question. And right next to that, they say, what about Hootsuite?
What about what?
Hootsuite. Who here has heard of Hootsuite? Okay, so Hootsuite is not a social media platform. It is a management platform. So Hootsuite is one of those applications that allow you to schedule a Facebook post or schedule a tweet or schedule a post to LinkedIn. And you're like, oh my God, I could sit there and I could schedule out the whole week. Yes, you can, which is great. But we don't want to rely consistently on auto scheduling because your online presence is a living, breathing representation of your nonprofit. So, in real life, you're not auto-scheduling what happens. You're living it and you're breathing it. Now, you can definitely look out on what's going on with your nonprofit and say, there are certain things that I can schedule because I know they're going to happen and they're recurring. Like if you have a monthly meetup. Every third Thursday of the month, we meet up and we have our monthly meeting there. Or every other Tuesday, we meet up with our funders and we have a budget meeting or whatever. You know that these things are going to come up. Those are the sort of things that you can start scheduling. If you are an individual and your nonprofit is really trying to bring awareness to what it is that you're doing, then do awareness tips. It says industry tips here. If you want to talk more about what you're doing within your industry, you can start creating a whole document with all of the tips or all of the awareness lines for your nonprofit. And now you have a whole sheet of content that you could use for months. And you can plug that in. Yes? Do you have a question?
Now, I've heard of Hootsuite.
Uh-huh.
And I know that Twitter is a form of like hashtags and interacting relationship, where Facebook is a lot of links to social and resources and what have you. So when you use Hootsuite, can you schedule it so that you are addressing each platform differently?
Yes.
Or is it just going to blast it out,
Yes.
same stuff?
And that's a great question. So I touch on Hootsuite because I know a lot of you will start gravitating towards it when you start doing social media. It's just something that naturally happens because you want to schedule something. You want it to make this easier. You want to systemize it. You never want to streamline it. Okay, so for those of you that are unfamiliar with Hootsuite, it's okay. For those of you that are a little bit familiar with it, you definitely don't want to take one piece of information, this event is happening here at this date, hashtag, and then click Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, send. Never. Because each platform you communicate differently. Right. Okay? And some of you might be asking, okay, how do I communicate on each individual platform? That's why we're going to sit down with each of you individually and kind of see where you're at and address those individual questions. Would be much more helpful that way. Other things that you can schedule out, testimonials. Everybody here should have testimonials. How many people here have testimonial videos already? That's content that you could be using. You can schedule that out. And you can shoot testimonials for what you're doing a month in advance and then know, well, I have now 8 pieces of content that I can share in all of these different realms. And it starts taking out the aggravation and the questions about what it is that you're doing and when you should be doing it. And it really alleviates the time press. And it makes you feel empowered because now you have control over something that before seemed so fleeting. Any questions about things that we should be posting? Just kind of streaming along. Good stuff. The most important thing about this is consistency. If you do not maintain consistency on social media, nobody is going to be listening to what you have to say. So if you think, oh, I had a great week, I plugged away, I posted every day for a week, and then didn't go on it for 2 weeks, all that hard work that you did just went down the drain. It is a living, breathing representation of your nonprofit, so you have to emulate that. Every day you have something to say about your nonprofit. If you're working on it 24/7, you have so much stuff to say. Utilize those platforms to get that out. But you need to be consistent, and that's why I say pick a platform, master it, sit down and look at the week and say, this is what I'm going to be saying, and that's how you're going to maintain consistency. Without the plan, without looking and saying, this is what I'm doing every week, this is how I'm going to say it, this is what's going to happen, I'm going to schedule this, you'll really lose consistency because you're going to get busy. Life happens, and this isn't, while it is consuming and it's so important, it's your passion, other things are going to take place. And so in order to maintain consistency, you really need to have a plan.
Nicole?
Yes.
Do you think they lose interest?
Absolutely. If you're not posting, there's 5,000 other people that they're connecting to that just posted.
They won't come back if you post something 2 weeks later?
It's not that they won't come back, but the connection is like, it's been displaced. It's just like a friend, We talk to your friend every day for a week, right? You're up to date on what's going on, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them for 2 or 3 weeks or 3 months. I mean, it's kind of that same situation. You're basically taking these events that happen in real life in terms of how you're socializing and you're taking and you're putting in a digital space. So that's why consistency is key. Also, what are all the things that have happened between point A when you were posting consistently and point B when you started posting again? You missed all of this information that's been going on. And people disengage. They will. Think about how you utilize, if you're a social media user yourself, even on a personal level, the people that are consistent that you see, you feel engaged with, you feel connected with, even if you're not liking it, even if you're not commenting on it. If you see that they're posting every week, you know what? Every week they do an awareness tip. I see them. Every Tuesday, they're always, they're saying, this awareness, or they're talking about a donor every week. And even though you're not getting 85 likes on that one post, as you maintain consistency, people will then know what to expect from you. So when you're giving value and you're talking about what you do and the services you offer and your testimonial videos and your awareness tips and links to your events, and then you plug in a new marketing initiative where you're asking for funds to do a new project, they're engaged with you, and you've done all that work up until that point, and you will probably see those funds go up because they feel connected, because they see you on your feed, whether they like it or not, every day or every other day when you're doing it. Any questions?
Yep. Do you have a ratio as far as value content to donor requests?
Yeah, 10 to 1.
Okay, got it.
You should really try not to ask for money as much as possible. No, yeah, definitely don't. I mean, you want, because the point of social media is to provide value to the individual, right? For whatever that is. And so in return, at some point, you want to get value out of them, which is that dollar or that coin or that share. And that should also be another thing that you're thinking about is outside of funds, what are the other valuable assets that you can leverage within social media? As you begin to build your page up and you build your Twitter and you build your following on Instagram, you can leverage those numbers to get more funds, to connect with partners that you weren't able to connect with before, because they're saying, you know what, the community is involved. Look at how many comments that they're getting. Look how many followers they have. Look at they're constantly posting. They're constantly doing things. There's testimonials every week about the great things that they're doing. People then are aware. That's why you're all here, to build a website so more people are aware about the things that you're doing, correct? Social media now gives you the ability to amplify that, which is an amazing thing. It's so amazing. And so that's why consistency is key. And that's kind of the trick to getting that extra fund or getting that share, getting that like or getting that comment, is that you're building that relationship. They know what to expect from you. They get excited.
Question.
Yes?
Is Hootsuite comparable to like Aweber?
I don't know too much about that platform. I know Hootsuite is the only one that I endorse because it's very, very economical. You can get one for free and manage 5 accounts on it. All the large corporations use it, and for many of what you're going to be doing, you shouldn't be paying for applications. Okay, you need to be using your money for other things. So I don't know too much about that particular platform, but Hootsuite is the only management system that I endorse. And to spell that, it's Hootsuite. Yes. Did they start charging for the 5? They might have started charging. I know it might be around between $5 and $9 a month, depending on what platform you're utilizing. There are some cool things within each platform that you can schedule. Facebook has a new scheduling mechanism, so if the platform that you're trying to master is Facebook, you're in luck because they actually have a scheduling application right inside the business page, which is amazing. Yeah, and I didn't know that. So there might be some, once any new platform like that starts charging, 5 other pop up that will be doing it for free just as well. So there might be some better ones out there now. Okay. Awesome. Well, I can kind of put aside a little bit more time for questions, but now we have a lot more time to meet individually. So what I'd like for us to do is, I hope everybody kind of wrote down some of the things that we talked about, and everybody is kind of sitting with their groups. Okay, cool. So what I'd like to do is to meet with each of you individually while I'm meeting with each group. The ones that I'm not meeting with, start thinking about the events that you have going on the next 2 to 4 weeks, so that when I sit with you and meet with you, we can just start sliding out where we're going with that content. And you guys can walk away here with at least a 2-week calendar of what you're going to do with your social media. Sound good? Good stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to start this way and move my way down.